In the vibrant streets of San Francisco, where contemporary art galleries thrive, an unexpected decision regarding a traditional painting of the Virgin Mary began to ripple through the community, ultimately touching countless hearts and minds. Jonathan Graves, renowned for his modern art gallery Serenity Walls, stood at a pivotal moment. Known for his passion for avant-garde pieces, Jonathan's gallery was a sanctuary for boundary-pushing artists. Yet, when Maria Santos, a devout Catholic artist, approached him with her serene depiction of the Virgin Mary, Jonathan found himself hesitating. The painting, Maternal Light, exuded a beauty that transcended time, contrasting sharply with the gallery's contemporary theme. Despite his reservations, Jonathan agreed to consider the piece, setting off a chain of events that would not only challenge his artistic beliefs but also transform his understanding of art's true power. The bustling streets of San Francisco provided the perfect backdrop for Serenity Walls, Jonathan's gallery, a beacon for those seeking modern and provocative art. Jonathan prided himself on his ability to curate challenging works that evoked deep emotions and sparked meaningful conversations. However, when Maria Santos presented her painting of the Virgin Mary, Jonathan faced an internal conflict. He admired the painting's undeniable beauty and Maria's talent, yet he was unsure it aligned with his gallery's contemporary ethos. This moment of hesitation marked the beginning of a journey that would challenge his perceptions of both art and spirituality. The painting, Maternal Light, was more than just an artwork. It was a window into a realm of divine grace and tranquility. Its soft hues and gentle brushstrokes captured the essence of the Virgin Mary, evoking a sense of peace that seemed to whisper to the soul. As Jonathan stood before it, he couldn't help but feel a stirring within him, a subtle, yet profound calling that beckoned him to look beyond the confines of conventional art definitions. Before we continue, tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is right now where you are. It's always inspiring to see how stories of faith, community, and devotion to the Virgin Mary touch hearts across the world at every hour. If stories that test conviction and awaken faith resonate with you, subscribe so you don't miss what unfolds next. He pondered the faces of those who frequented his gallery, individuals searching for something beyond the ordinary. Could Maternal Light be the beacon they needed? Could this painting, with its sacred tranquility, offer them a glimpse of the divine amidst the chaos of modern life? Jonathan was at a crossroads, not just in his curatorial choices, but in his understanding of art's potential to touch the soul and bridge the gap between the earthly and the divine. As Jonathan grappled with his decision, the painting of the Virgin Mary remained in the gallery's backroom, quietly waiting for its moment to shine. Unbeknownst to him, this unassuming piece would soon become the catalyst for a profound community transformation, forging unexpected connections and healing hearts along the way. And as the gallery lights dimmed, Jonathan's mind drifted back to the origins of Maternal Light and the artist whose faith had breathed life into its canvas. As the gallery lights dimmed, the delicate hues of dusk seeped through the windows, casting a soft glow across the polished wooden floors. Jonathan stood alone amidst the quiet, contemplating the painting that was hidden away in the backroom. Maternal Light waited there, wrapped in a shroud of potential, whispering promises of peace and divine connection. He found himself pacing, his footsteps echoing softly, a rhythm of indecision and reflection. The gallery, usually a hub of modern artistic expression, had taken on a different aura since the painting's arrival. Visitors, lured by Jonathan's curated exhibitions, had begun to share peculiar experiences. Those who happened to catch a glimpse of the Virgin Mary painting, even accidentally during a backroom door left ajar, reported an inexplicable calmness, a serene presence that seemed to envelop them. The tales were becoming too frequent, too consistent, to dismiss as mere coincidence. With each account, Jonathan's internal struggle deepened. What was it about this painting that touched people so profoundly? He realized he could no longer ignore the gentle insistence of its presence. Perhaps, he mused, the painting was meant for more than just a backroom. Yet, committing to such a choice felt monumental, a decision that required faith as much as curation. That evening, as he locked up, the crisp autumn air greeted him, swirling leaves dancing at his feet. Just as he was about to descend the gallery steps, he noticed Agnes, a familiar figure in the neighborhood, nestled in her usual spot with a thin blanket wrapped around her shoulders. Her face, weathered yet kind, turned towards him with a gentle smile. "Evening, Jonathan," she greeted, her voice carrying the warmth of someone who had seen too much yet still held on to hope. "Evening, Agnes," he replied, his curiosity piqued by her presence. "It's getting colder. Would you like to come inside for a bit?" Her eyes twinkled with gratitude, and she nodded. "That would be lovely." Inside, the gallery offered a stark contrast to the chill outside. Jonathan brewed a pot of herbal tea, its comforting aroma filling the air between them as Agnes settled into a chair. They chatted about the usual neighborhood happenings, her laughter a balm against the day's lingering uncertainties. As their conversation ebbed, Jonathan felt a nudge, an almost imperceptible urging. "Agnes, there's something I'd like you to see," he said, his voice tinged with anticipation. He led her to the back room, where maternal light awaited in muted splendor. The painting's depiction of the Virgin Mary, her gaze tender and encompassing, seemed to emanate a silent invitation. Agnes approached it slowly, her breath catching as she took in the gentle strokes of light and color that composed the holy figure. Tears welled in her eyes, cascading down her cheeks unchecked. "Oh, Jonathan," she whispered, her voice tremulous with emotion. "It's as if she's watching over me." Jonathan watched, his heart stirring with a mixture of awe and understanding. The painting, it seemed, had found another soul to touch, another heart to heal. Agnes stood there for several moments, her silence speaking volumes. "She reminds me," Agnes eventually said, her voice steadying, "that even in the darkest nights, there is a light that never fades." Her words resonated within him, a gentle echo of a deeper truth. Jonathan realized that the painting was more than just art, it was a vessel of grace, a bridge between the earthly struggles and the divine assurance that transcended them. As Agnes prepared to leave, she turned to Jonathan, her eyes still glistening. "Thank you for sharing this with me. It's a gift, you know." Jonathan nodded, his own voice thick with emotion. "Thank you for seeing it, Agnes. Truly seeing it." As she disappeared into the night, Jonathan lingered by the painting, the weight of his decision settling into resolve. Maternal light was meant to be seen, to be felt, to be a source of solace and inspiration. It was not just an adornment for his gallery but a beacon for the community. In the quiet of that moment, Jonathan felt a budding curiosity, an eagerness to explore the painting's impact further. This was no ordinary artwork. It was a catalyst for connection, for healing, for unexpected encounters that left indelible marks on the soul. With a newfound sense of purpose, he began to formulate a plan. He would give maternal light its rightful place in the gallery, a space where its gentle presence could touch all who entered. The painting's journey was just beginning, and Jonathan felt privileged to be part of it. As the night deepened, The gallery stood silent, the Virgin Mary's serene visage a testament to the enduring hope and grace that filled the room. Jonathan knew that the decision to share this painting with the world was not just about art, it was about faith, about embracing the divine whispers that guided him toward a path of light and transformation. And so, with the promise of a new dawn, he prepared to open his heart and his gallery to the unexpected encounters that awaited, knowing that maternal light would lead the way. As dawn broke over the quiet streets, its gentle light filtering through the gallery windows, Jonathan stood before the newly hung maternal light. He had chosen a modest corner for its display, an intimate alcove that seemed carved out just for this moment. The Virgin Mary's serene expression, captured so tenderly in the painting, seemed to echo the quietude of the morning, inviting contemplation and peace. Jonathan took a step back, admiring how the soft light played across the canvas, illuminating the delicate brushstrokes that formed Mary's face. He had placed a simple plaque beneath the painting, inscribed with its title and a brief description: Maternal Light, a reflection of divine grace and hope. It was all it needed. The painting spoke for itself, its presence a gentle whisper in the cacophony of the world. As the gallery doors opened to the public, Jonathan felt a flutter of anticipation. He remembered Agnes, whose reaction to the painting had been a catalyst for this moment. Her tears, a mixture of joy and sorrow, had affirmed the painting's power to touch the soul. He hoped others might find the same solace and connection. The day unfolded quietly at first, the gallery's usual patrons wandering through with appreciative nods and murmurs of admiration. But as the hours passed, Jonathan noticed a shift. Visitors began to linger longer before Maternal Light. Their conversations hushed as they took in the painting's serene beauty. Some crossed themselves reverently, while others simply stood in silent reflection. Word of the painting spread beyond the gallery, carried by those who had experienced its quiet power. Soon, a diverse array of visitors began to arrive, some drawn by faith, others by curiosity. An elderly couple whispered prayers before the painting, their hands clasped tightly. A young mother, her child cradled in her arms, gazed at Mary's gentle face with tear-filled eyes. A group of teenagers, their initial amusement giving way to quiet contemplation, stood transfixed by the painting's luminous presence. Jonathan watched these scenes unfold with a mixture of awe and humility. He had always believed in the power of art, but this was different. This was a testament to something greater, an unfolding of grace that transcended the canvas. He found himself contemplating the role of art in society, how it could serve as a vessel for divine truth and human connection. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low in the sky, a priest entered the gallery. Father Michael was a familiar face in the community, known for his warm demeanor and thoughtful homilies. Jonathan greeted him with a smile, curious to see how the priest would respond to Maternal Light. "Jonathan," Father Michael said, his voice resonant with a quiet authority, "I've heard about this remarkable painting. I had to see it for myself." Jonathan led him to the alcove, watching as the priest stood before the painting, his expression one of quiet reverence. After a long moment, Father Michael spoke, his voice carrying a deep sense of understanding. "There is a sacredness here," he said softly, "a reminder of the divine presence in our everyday lives. It speaks to the heart, calling us to a deeper faith." Jonathan nodded, moved by the priest's words. "It's been incredible to see how people respond to it," he admitted. "I never imagined it would have such an impact." Father Michael turned to him, a gentle smile on his lips. Art has a way of reaching us when words fail, doesn't it? This painting is a gift, Jonathan. It invites us to pause, to reflect on the mysteries of faith and the enduring hope we find in the Blessed Mother. As they spoke, Jonathan felt a sense of peace settle over him, a confirmation that he had made the right decision in sharing maternal light with the world. He realized that the painting had become more than just a piece of art. It was a beacon of light, guiding those who encountered it toward a deeper understanding of grace and redemption. The gallery, once a place of simple artistic expression, had transformed into a sanctuary of sorts, where people of all walks of life came seeking solace and connection. Jonathan marveled at the unexpected journey maternal light had taken him on, challenging his preconceived notions about art's role in society. As the days turned into weeks, the painting continued to draw visitors, each leaving with a piece of its quiet strength imprinted on their hearts. Jonathan watched as the community around him grew closer, united by the shared experience of encountering something sacred and profound. One evening, as the gallery prepared to close, a woman approached Jonathan, her eyes shining with gratitude. "Thank you," she said simply, gesturing toward the painting. "Seeing this has renewed my faith in ways I can't describe." Jonathan smiled, deeply touched by her words. "I'm glad it could bring you some peace," he replied, knowing that the painting's true impact extended far beyond what he could see. With each passing day, Jonathan's faith in the power of art deepened. He understood now that maternal light was not just a painting, it was a testament to the divine whispers that guided him, a reminder that even in the midst of darkness, there is always a path of light and transformation. As the gallery closed its doors for the night, Jonathan stood once more before maternal light, enveloped in the quietude of the space. The painting glowed softly in the dim light, a beacon of hope and grace. Jonathan knew that its journey was far from over, and he felt privileged to be part of the unfolding story. With a heart full of gratitude, he prepared for the next chapter, ready to embrace the unexpected encounters that awaited, confident that maternal light would continue to lead the way. As the soft morning light filtered through the gallery's large windows, painting the floors with golden hues, the doors opened to welcome another day of visitors. The word about maternal light had spread like wildfire, drawing people from near and far. Jonathan stood near the entrance, watching as individuals and families alike entered the sacred space, their eyes reflecting an anticipation that had become familiar. Among the day's visitors were Emily and David, a couple whose story would soon become woven into the tapestry of the painting's legacy. They entered the gallery quietly, holding hands with a gentle, almost reverent grip. Emily's eyes scanned the room, pausing as they landed on maternal light. She inhaled sharply, a breath that seemed to carry both hope and longing. The couple approached the painting slowly, as if drawn by an invisible thread. Jonathan watched them, sensing that this encounter would be significant. He approached them with a warm smile, offering a quiet welcome. "It's quite a piece, isn't it?" he said softly, standing beside them. "It's beautiful," Emily replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "There's something alive about it." David nodded, his eyes fixed on the serene face of the Virgin Mary. "We've heard so much about it," he added, his voice filled with a mixture of skepticism and hope. "We're hoping it might bring us some peace." Jonathan sensed their unspoken story. "Art has a way of reaching us where words cannot," he replied, looking at the painting. "Sometimes it illuminates paths we never knew existed." They stood in silence, letting the painting speak its own language. The Virgin Mary's gentle eyes seemed to hold them in an embrace, offering solace and understanding. Emily closed her eyes, a silent prayer forming in her heart, a prayer for hope, for healing, for a miracle. After what felt like an eternity, they stepped back, still holding each other's hands. "Thank you," Emily said, her voice stronger now. "I don't know what will happen, but I feel lighter." Jonathan nodded, understanding the unexplainable peace that sometimes comes from such encounters. "May you find the answers you seek," he offered as they turned to leave. Months passed, and the painting continued to touch the hearts of many. Jonathan often reflected on the myriad of stories that unfolded before maternal light. Each visitor brought their own burdens and left with a piece of the painting's quiet strength. One crisp autumn morning, as leaves danced in the cool breeze outside, Emily and David returned. This time, their faces were radiant with a joy that filled the room. Emily's hand rested gently on her slightly rounded belly, a visible testament to the miracle they had longed for. Jonathan greeted them with a smile, recognizing the transformation in their countenance. "It's wonderful to see you two again," he said, his voice filled with genuine warmth. "We wanted to share our news with you," Emily said, her voice brimming with emotion. "We're expecting. After so many years of trying, of hoping, it finally happened." David nodded, his eyes misty with gratitude. "We can't explain it, but we know this painting had something to do with it. It gave us hope when we needed it most." Jonathan felt a deep joy swell within him, knowing that maternal light had played a part in this miracle. "Art and faith have a mysterious way of intertwining," he mused. "It's as if the painting became a vessel for your prayers." The couple stayed for a while, standing once again before the painting, now with hearts full of gratitude rather than longing. As they left, Emily turned to Jonathan one last time. "Thank you for sharing this with us," she said. "It's become a part of our story." Jonathan watched them leave, their steps lighter than before, their hearts full of promise. As the door closed behind them, he returned to stand before maternal light. He gazed at the Virgin Mary's serene face, feeling a profound connection to the divine whispers that had guided him all along. The stories of hope and healing continued to pour in, each one a testament to the painting's impact. Jonathan began to embrace the spiritual significance of his creation more deeply. He realized that the painting was not just a work of art, it was a conduit for grace, a reminder that in the midst of life's trials, there is always a path of light and transformation. Every story deepened Jonathan's understanding of art's purpose. He saw how it transcended mere visual beauty, reaching into the hearts of those who encountered it, offering solace, guidance, and healing. The gallery had become a sanctuary, a place where faith and art intertwined to create something sacred. As the days turned into weeks, Jonathan found himself more attuned to the divine whispers in his own life, allowing them to guide his path. He knew that maternal light would continue to lead the way, touching lives in ways he could never have imagined. And so, with a heart full of gratitude and awe, Jonathan prepared for the next chapter of this unfolding story, ready to embrace the unexpected encounters that awaited. He was confident that, just as the painting had transformed the lives of Emily and David, it would continue to be a beacon of hope and grace for all who came to witness its quiet power. As the days grew longer and the gentle warmth of spring seeped into every corner of the town, Serenity Walls found itself at the heart of something extraordinary. What had begun as a simple art gallery was now a sacred space, a sanctuary where hearts laid bare could find healing and hope. People traveled from near and far, drawn by whispers of the miraculous painting, maternal light, that seemed to breathe life into those who gazed upon it. Jonathan watched in awe as the gallery became a place of pilgrimage. Every day, a steady stream of visitors filled the gallery, each one bringing their own stories of struggle and redemption, their own need for the solace that only something beyond the ordinary could provide. He stood in quiet reverence, observing the profound impact the painting had on each person, and how it bound them all together in a shared tapestry of faith and renewal. Maria and Agnes, once strangers, had become indispensable companions on this journey. The three of them formed an unlikely yet harmonious trio, united by their shared mission to nurture the gallery's growing community. Maria, with her gentle compassion, offered a listening ear and a caring heart to those who sought her out. Agnes, with a wisdom that seemed to transcend time, provided guidance and insight, her presence a comforting balm to all who encountered her. Together, they listened to the stories of the visitors, tales of sorrow and joy, of loss and newfound hope. There was Angela, who had lost her husband a year ago and found herself drowning in grief. As she stood before maternal light, tears streaming down her face, she felt a warmth envelop her, a whispered promise that she was not alone. There was Marcus, a young man struggling with his faith, who found in the painting a reminder of the beauty and mystery that lay beyond the tangible world. "Jonathan," Maria said one afternoon, as the last of the day's visitors departed, "it's remarkable, isn't it? How this painting brings people together, how it speaks to each person in a language only they can understand." Jonathan nodded, his heart full. "It's as if maternal light is a bridge, connecting us to something greater, something divine. I never imagined art could have such power." Agnes chuckled softly, her eyes twinkling with wisdom. "Art, my dear Jonathan, is but a mirror of the soul. It reflects our deepest longings, our greatest fears, and our most profound hopes. What you have created here is not just a gallery, but a beacon of unity and healing." As the weeks passed, the gallery's transformation became a testament to the power of art to transcend boundaries and bring people together. It was no longer just a space filled with beautiful paintings. It was a living, breathing organism, pulsating with the energy of the stories shared within its walls. The community that had formed around Serenity Walls was a diverse tapestry of individuals, each one woven into the larger narrative of faith and redemption. Jonathan found himself increasingly attuned to the divine whispers that seemed to dance through the gallery, guiding him in ways he had never anticipated. He began to see the beauty in the diversity of experiences and the myriad ways in which art could touch the human spirit. His initial hesitation had given way to a profound appreciation for the unexpected encounters and connections that maternal light facilitated. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow through the gallery's windows, Jonathan stood before the painting. The room was empty, save for Maria and Agnes, who sat quietly nearby, their presence a comforting reassurance. In that moment, Jonathan felt a deep sense of gratitude for the journey that had brought him here, to this place of healing and hope. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice barely audible, "for guiding me, for bringing us all together." As if in response, the painting seemed to shimmer with a gentle light, a silent acknowledgement of the sacred work that was unfolding within these walls. As the chapter of A Community United drew to a close, Jonathan knew that this was only the beginning. There were still countless stories to be told, countless lives to be touched by the quiet power of maternal light. He was ready to embrace whatever came next, confident that, with Maria and Agnes by his side, the gallery would continue to be a place of grace and transformation for all who entered. And so, with a heart full of hope and anticipation, Jonathan prepared for the next chapter of this unfolding story, ready to witness the continued impact of the divine artistry that had brought them all together. The journey was far from over. It was only just beginning. As the soft light of dawn filtered through the windows of the gallery, Jonathan stood before the painting that had come to mean so much to him and the community. Maternal light hung gracefully on the wall, its colors vibrant and alive, capturing the essence of what it meant to be a beacon of hope and unity. In the quiet of the morning, Jonathan took a moment to reflect on the journey that had brought them all to this point. When the painting first arrived, it was shrouded in mystery and uncertainty. Jonathan, a self-proclaimed skeptic of traditional religious art, had been hesitant to see the value in its presence. Yet, over time, the gentle whispers of divine love that seemed to emanate from the canvas began to transform his heart. He had witnessed firsthand the way maternal light had touched the lives of those who visited the gallery, bringing together people from all walks of life and inspiring moments of profound connection and understanding. As he stood there, Jonathan couldn't help but feel a deep sense of gratitude for the journey he had embarked upon. It was as if the painting had unlocked something within him, opening his heart to new possibilities and allowing him to see the world through a lens of faith and redemption. The gallery had become more than just a place to display art. It was a sanctuary where souls could find solace and inspiration. Maria, the gifted artist behind Maternal Light, had also experienced a transformation of her own. With each brushstroke, she had poured her faith into her work, creating pieces that spoke to the soul and invited viewers to explore the depths of their own spirituality. Her gratitude for the opportunity to share her faith through her art was palpable, and she approached each new painting with a renewed sense of purpose. One morning, as Maria joined Jonathan in the gallery, the two shared a moment of quiet reflection. "You know," Maria said softly, "when I first started painting Maternal Light, I wasn't sure where it would lead. But now, seeing the impact it's had on so many lives, I realize it was never just about the art. It was about creating a space for grace and transformation." Jonathan nodded, his heart full of agreement. It's incredible how something as simple as a painting can bring people together and inspire such profound change. I never imagined that embracing the unexpected could lead to such beauty. Visitors continued to come and go, each leaving their own mark on the gallery and carrying with them the message of hope and unity that Maternal Light conveyed. Some came seeking solace in times of hardship, others drawn by a curiosity that led to unexpected revelations. All left with a renewed sense of connection, both to themselves and to the divine. One afternoon, an elderly woman entered the gallery, her eyes immediately drawn to the painting. She approached it slowly, her steps deliberate and measured. As she stood before Maternal Light, tears welled in her eyes, and she reached out a trembling hand as if to touch the grace it embodied. Jonathan, observing from a distance, felt compelled to approach her. "It's a beautiful piece, isn't it?" he said gently. The woman nodded, wiping her tears. "It reminds me of my mother," she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. "The way she always had a light about her, even in the darkest times. This painting, it feels like she's here with me." Jonathan's heart swelled with empathy. Art has a way of connecting us to those we love, even when they're no longer with us. I'm glad you found something meaningful here. The woman smiled through her tears, gratitude shining in her eyes. Thank you, she said, her voice full of sincerity. This place is truly special. As the woman left, Jonathan felt a renewed sense of purpose. The gallery had become more than just a place to display art. It was a testament to the power of embracing the unexpected and the profound beauty found in faith, art, and human connection. It was a reminder that, even in a world often marked by division and uncertainty, there was always a light that could guide us toward unity and understanding. With each passing day, Jonathan, Maria, and Agnes continued to witness the transformative power of maternal light. The painting had become a symbol of grace and unity within the community, a beacon that drew people together and inspired moments of profound connection. And as the story of the gallery unfolded, Jonathan knew that this was only the beginning. The journey of transformation was far from over, and Jonathan was ready to embrace whatever came next. With a heart full of hope and anticipation, he prepared for the next chapter of this unfolding story, confident that the gallery would continue to be a place of grace and transformation for all who entered. The divine artistry that had brought them all together would continue to inspire and uplift, reminding all who encountered it of the profound beauty found in faith, art, and human connection. As this story draws to a close, we'd love to hear your thoughts. What would you have done in Sarah's place? Share your reflections in the comments. Tell us where you're watching from and what time it is right now where you are. Subscribe for more stories of faith, compassion, and unexpected moments that bring communities together.